Cronin Toyota and Cronin Nissan are honored to partner with Proudly We Served, as well as the continued support of our local active and retired military veterans across eastern Indiana.
I'm Al Bledsoe, Veterans of Foreign War, Post 1108.
Ron Chappell, Chaplain for Vietnam Veterans Chapter 777 here in the beautiful city of Richmond. And our guest today is Ron. I'll let him introduce himself.
I'm Ron Weadick, Veteran Service Officer, relatively new Veteran Service Officer here in Wayne County.
Okay,
Among other things. He does a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Before we move on, though, we want to talk about the appreciation dinner, right? We want
That's
to
fine.
make sure we don't forget that. It's Saturday, December the 8th for all veterans. It's a Veterans Christmas Appreciation Dinner. It's at the Coleman Center. Doors open at 3 o'clock. It's right there on your screen. Flag ceremony and dinner at 5 o'clock. You need to RSVP by November 17th. And the number is there on the screen, 765-914-7367. This is for all veterans, your family members. I tell you, we've been doing it now they've been doing it for what? 5 years?
5 years.
4 or 5 years?
Yeah.
And it's gotten better every year. It's gotten better every year. So we really hope that you guys want to get involved with that, okay?
December 8th
December 8th.
at the Coleman Center.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's get started with Ron. Ron, just give us a little background on what you do and who you are and where you've been and those kind of things.
Relatively new, like I said, at the Veteran Service Office, just started in July. And I have a longtime member of the VFW,
Sure.
American Legion here in town. Been probably, well, let's see, for 10 years, 11 years now, I've been active with the Veterans Parade. Chaired that for 10 years. And then we kind of got some help last year from the Parks Department, Denise Retz. We appreciate that a whole lot. Also on the Veteran Stakeholders Committee down at our local clinic, our CBOC, Veteran CBOC. We meet there once a month. Oh, golly. Also with the, did I say the VAN program? And VFW and now with the Veteran Service Office. So.
Well, Ron is certainly no stranger to the veteran community. He's one of the first guys I actually met at the VFW years ago, and he's very, very proactive when it comes to our service clubs, the VFW, Veterans of Foreign War, Post 1108, the American Legion, Post 65. Both of those clubs he has been really active in.
Several officers, positions.
And several offices. You've been
Positions.
commander twice, haven't you?
Yeah.
Is
3
that right?
times.
Yeah.
3 times.
Three
So
years.
he does have some influence in those communities, and that's kind of what it takes to keep those going. And so
That's right.
while we're on that, we want to invite all the young veterans to visit the VFW, or
Yes.
Veterans of Foreign War. We're on South 8th Street.
Yeah.
American Legion is on 6th Street.
North
Visit
End.
one of those clubs and see if that isn't a fit for you, or see if that won't work out.
Right.
So,
And they can be for VBA. Can't they be an auxiliary? They can be part of the auxiliary.
Associate member of the VBA.
Certainly. Veteran
Right.
veterans, yeah.
okay, so let's talk a little bit about the parade first. That's going to be November the 9th, I believe.
Yep.
Starts at 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock lineup. We're excited this year to have it back on Main Street.
All right.
We had a lot of construction, as everybody knows, in Richmond downtown. One year we had to cancel it, unfortunately. Last year we had it down in the Depot District. They were nice enough to host us down there.
Sure.
It was real nice. It was a lot shorter. We just like doing it downtown and the with the participation of all the vendors and stores downtown. It's just a real nice venue, and of course now we've got some improvements downtown. And, looking forward to that. We'll start at 12 o'clock, right at 12th and Main Street, and proceed down Main to the City Building there at 5th Street. There will be a reviewing stand, bleachers at 10th and Main. Also, we'll have A+ signs there with the boom truck. We'll probably be videoing. The radio station will be there to broadcast. We have the Indiana Guard Reserve will be there to help with traffic control at all the intersections. We appreciate them a lot. And our local amateur radio club help us with communications from the intersections all the way along the route. So a lot of input. Like I said, we're real happy to have the Parks Department this year. Denise Retz and her group have really stepped up and helped us out a lot with that. And
They did a great job.
taking a
last
lot
year,
of taking a lot of the work off of me.
Yeah.
They do a nice job, and we really appreciate their input.
Well, a lot of them are the younger ones, and they provide that energy that you've got to have to carry it. There's a lot of things that have to happen with that parade. It's not just something that just happens. There's a lot of communication goes with all that stuff, and the police department, sanitary district, I believe, is involved in it.
Sure.
And he's run it. Ron's run it for 10 years.
Yeah.
So he knows pretty much what's got to be done, and then with the energy the Parks Department's got, why it's really good.
Well, I'm thinking the police department probably really appreciates the involvement of the National Guard because it takes a big burden off of them.
Sure.
You know,
Exactly.
they got other stuff they need to be
Exactly.
protecting us
Yep.
from.
Yeah. Well, it's something that I think a lot of the people in Wayne County look forward to every year.
It is,
So,
yeah.
You know, our traffic department and Donnie Benedict, they do a real fine job of helping us with that. Every year we've always had a lot of cooperation. Our local fire department comes out, and our county fire departments come out.
Sure.
So the local schools, we've had a combined Wayne County band for the last few years, where it was always tough for all the bands to get enough kids to come out and all the other things they had going on. So now we do a combined Wayne County band. It's really been pretty nice. I don't know how they pull that off with all the different schools coming together to perform, but they do a nice job.
Practice, 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 practice,
Let's talk a little bit about, there's so many things that you're involved in. Let's talk a little bit about stakeholders. That's a really good program. I don't know, do you know about that?
Not really.
Okay, so just tell him what we do at stakeholders. This is really a good thing.
Okay, Al is also involved in that, and some of our local veterans. Originally, they approached us to have an interface, if you will, between our local veterans community and the CBOC, the community-based outpatient clinic. What are the concerns and from our veterans? How can we interface better with the veterans community from the CBOC? So that's how we started out. We take our advice, if you will, and concerns to the CBOC. They can also pass along to us the changes, things that are happening at the CBOC and our new programs, whatever's going on there. We can then get that out to the veterans community also. So that's what we do. We have a group of, like I said, local veterans from our veteran service organizations that meet once a month. We have a representative come over from the Dayton VA Medical Center in Dayton, Ohio, and kind of guide us along and help us. And one of our members, Butch Markham, also belongs to the group in Dayton, Ohio. And he meets with Dayton and finds out what's going on with the organization over there and how we can interface with them. So,
well, one good thing about it, and I think that we've noticed that with the adjutant from out of Dayton or whatever, the people that come from Dayton, it seems like if we've got something that needs to get done, it seems like they can carry the water, if you will, to the next level, and it gets done pretty quick.
The folks in Dayton, you mean?
Yeah, to Dayton, because Yvonne and Jason are both kind of in management or whatever at Dayton, so they can make the call with that stuff a lot.
I see.
I tell you, it really makes a difference too, having Butch Markham on the committee
Sure.
in Dayton.
Right.
The director of the Dayton VA Medical Center is in that meeting.
Okay.
And if if he hears Butch voice a concern,
Okay.
Yeah.
And he
something
will.
happens.
Yeah.
You know, he has the authority to make things right.
Well, our clinic is large enough, and hopefully it's growing some, but our clinic is large enough. We've got to be a little bit of a force there, I would think, with, what have we got, 3,600 members at CBOC or the clinic?
They want to keep it viable, I'm sure.
Well, that's a lot, and as long as you've got somebody out there pushing them, we're going to be able to help them. So, and that's what Ron does a really good job of that. So,
And we actually sat down here at our last meeting and videotaped
yeah,
some things from all of our members that will be running on the screen, the closed circuit TV down there at the CBOC, and tells
Okay.
who we are, what we do, bring your problems to us, that sort of thing. So.
don't you think just in the last couple of months, this stakeholders meeting, that Dayton's come out just a little bit more into the community, or they've wanted to be in the community, rather than us, if you will, sitting there pushing it a little bit. It seems like that they've kind of come out and said, you know, here's what we need to do as a joint effort with Dayton and Richmond, and it's really
Well,
been.
knowing our guys, I would be presumptuous to believe that they've probably kind of drawn on them to let them know that we're serious about our participation in
Certainly.
this thing. You know.
And Yvonne does a nice job bringing out guest speakers for us.
Yeah.
Certainly.
Yeah.
People from Dayton come over, and we had the hearing audiology
Yeah.
director came over and talked to us.
Yeah.
We've gotten the local sheriff's department involved, talked about some things that we can do with the community, and maybe even the Veterans Court. We've talked about coming up with Veterans
Yes, I
Court,
remember
so.
there was some discussion about that.
If we could
Yeah.
get to that, I don't know whether I don't think we have a big problem in Wayne County, but certainly I think Delaware County is the closest county for this Veterans Court. It's a good idea, but we don't have as big a need probably as Delaware County has. So.
And it, I guess not special consideration, but they get special, maybe special consideration for veterans.
Yeah.
It's by no means a free ride. If you go to court, you go to court. And some of those fellas probably would rather go to jail than what they have to go through, perhaps, with the Veterans Court. But it helps and recognizes the special problems that maybe our veterans
Right.
might have.
PSD related to combat that they
Perhaps,
cost.
yeah.
Well, and the
mental
sheriff and
yeah.
police department, Branham, both of them,
Yeah.
the head of city police, Branham, and then Redder, they've both been real supportive of it. They've come to a lot of meetings to try to help form that if we need that. So they've been really good about that. So
And I guess at this point, what we need is one of our local judges to really get behind the program
Yeah.
and be willing to do the extra work
yeah,
that it takes to run that program.
Sure.
So we're not very far along with that, but it's, I think, a really good idea.
yeah. Tell us about the van that
Okay.
you do, and you've done that for years.
Been involved with that for about 12 years, I think. Started out, I was still working at the time, full-time, and volunteered as a part-time driver. So we would, it's an all-volunteer program. It's called the DAV Transportation Network. We get, through the DAV, some funding, a grant from Columbia Grant Program. We put up about half the money, it's about 55%, and DAV will put up the other 45% to buy our vans. It's an all-volunteer program. We make no money whatsoever at this. It's all just to serve the veterans. What we do is transport veterans back and forth to the Dayton VA Medical Center for their appointments and anything that they need to happen over to Dayton VA. There are times when a veteran, you're not allowed to drive if you have a certain kind of an appointment, dilate your eyes or whatever, you're not allowed to drive. So those folks would need a ride to Dayton, VA. A lot of people just don't have the means to get back and forth. So we provide that for our local veterans. Like I said, it's all volunteer. Always looking for drivers, anybody who's interested in coming out and helping us out, get a hold of me. We are at, let's see, what number is 765-277-4245 is the local van number. You can call and get your rides, schedule your rides. Call and volunteer to drive if you care to. Need to get a background check and a physical over to Dayton VA Medical Center and put you right into the program.
Do you have to be a veteran?
Do you
have to be a veteran.
Do you pick them up, or do you provide a pickup service, or do they have to come to the VFW?
No,
For
we
pickup,
actually will pick up the veterans, a door-to-door service, if you will. Pick them up at their location and take them to Dayton VA and back again. We pick up some veterans in Cambridge City. It's a county program. We have picked up, we pick up one young lady probably about as far north as you can go on Williamsburg Pike and in Wayne County. We pick up another fella up north on 227, Hagerstown area. So, yes, we
It's really rising.
pick up everybody door-to-door service. So.
Well, that's really a needed service, and that's
Yeah.
something that's so not talked about. I mean, it's just if people don't know, and that's why I wanted to bring it up on this show, that people will know that we do have that van service, and it's almost a thankless job. I mean, the volunteers that do all that, that's incredible.
Dedicated bunch of people and really do a
Certainly.
nice job, and
Yeah.
they really care about the veterans. And like you mentioned, they're not all veterans. All of my drivers are not veterans, but that's their way to give
Sure.
to the veterans.
And that's a neat program.
We are at this time involved in a fundraiser to try to get some money for a new van. Our van is a 2008, got probably 150,000 miles on it.
Yeah.
They like to rotate those vans at 100,000 miles, so we're a little over due for a van. It serves us well. They take very good care of it. The Dayton VA will and federal government will do all of our fuel, tires, maintenance, everything that needs to be done on that van is taken care of. Like I say, there's no cost to anyone once we get the van purchased. We probably need about $21,000 for our portion of that cost for the van. I'm down to probably $15,000 now through donations that we've gotten so far.
Right.
So we're looking for donations. Anybody that's interested can make the check payable to VFW Post 1108. Be sure and put on the memo that it's for the DAV van. And we will, by October 15th, actually, we're getting down to the wire here.
Yeah.
We need to get the money to Dayton, or to DAV in Indianapolis, so we can get that van ordered. We'll get it in probably about the middle of next year. So it'll be a brand new 2020 van.
Will they have any special?
No, we don't. We do not haul wheelchairs. You have to be able to get in and out of the van yourself. That is the one consideration. You have to be able to get in and out of the van by yourself and be coherent and be able to know where you're going once you get over there.
Sure.
I mean, obviously, we can help a little bit, and the people over at Dayton VA help a lot. So that's where we're at with that program.
So let's get it fast forward just a little bit, and you started working for Wayne County in the service office. Tell us about that. That's a kind of got to be a new experience from giving back, if you will, all the time to
Yeah.
actually really focused on helping veterans.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
That's got to be a neat program.
It is. I'm really enjoying it.
Sure.
Pete McDaniel has worked very hard to get that extra office there. He did that for a number of years by himself. He gets 29 hours a week to do that program, so obviously there's some downtime in that office if he doesn't have some help.
That's right.
So he was able to get some funding through cooperation with the Wayne County and the city of Richmond and the mayor, and we now have a separate office, or not a separate office, but another office there, another service officer. Involved a whole lot more than I thought it was going to.
Yeah.
There's a lot of training to go through. I've been there a couple months. Not at all arrogant enough to think I know everything I need to know to do that job,
Yeah.
but I'm learning every day. Pete's a great teacher and good mentor. We have the Indiana Department of Veteran Affairs to fall back on. Our district, district service officer, Mark Smith. Wealth of information. There's training programs you have to go through and yearly seminars to keep trained up. But there's a lot of veteran benefits out there, a lot of things I had to learn. I'm still learning.
Still learning.
obviously.
Yeah.
So are we interlined with Indianapolis, the Indiana Department of Veterans Affairs? Are we still aligned with them somewhat? I know some of those guys have been over here for the program before.
Yep,
And
absolutely. Mark has visited our office and does occasionally.
yeah, okay.
We're in touch with them every day, of course, by email. Get all the information we need. They're a big help. Anytime I run into a problem and don't know how to handle it and Pete's not available, I can fall back on them and just
Sure.
call the office and they're a wealth of information.
Yeah.
So.
So now you are physically co-located with Pete, right, in the same
Yes. Yep.
place? Right.
We're in the bottom floor of the annex building
Right.
downtown. Up the very bottom of the stairs, or right as you get off the elevator, turn right, and there's our office.
There it is.
So, come in and see us.
Are you
We're
open
there to
now
help.
8 to 3?
We
9
are
to 3?
now able, since we have 2 people in there, we're able to stay open Monday through Thursday from 8 to 4. And Friday by appointments. For some reason you can't get there during the week, Pete will come in on Friday and visit with you. We'd obviously rather get the appointments earlier in the day, but
Sure.
I have one scheduled for 4 o'clock. You know, that's when the veteran can get there. I'll adjust my schedule, and that's
Sure.
when we'll meet with the veteran. So
Yeah.
whatever we have to do.
Well, that's just a lot of work, and that's just a lot
It
of
is.
stuff, especially when working with the government, all the bureaucracies.
Okay.
I'd get frustrated
paperwork.
if they didn't approve something right away. But, you know, that's really a good thing that you've done that. So,
Yeah.
because you've been involved in Veterans Affairs for how many years have you been involved in
Sure, and
Just-
I thought that I knew something, you know?
Yeah.
Till I got there and
Okay.
found out all the things that are available and,
Sure.
and the things I do need to learn.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's got to be personally rewarding when you can reach out, if you will, to help a young veteran or somebody, or even an older
Oh,
veteran.
okay. Yeah,
Well-
don't kick us to the curb, man.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a lot of veterans.
You know, to reach out and help them, there's got to be a certain amount of personal reward for that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Satisfaction to see somebody got help.
You're absolutely right. It's pretty satisfying to be able to help someone. Just talked to a young family who needed some help last week. Just got out. Just now got out of the
Wow.
military, and here they are, thrown into raising their family, looking for a job, and so
Yeah.
forth. And anything we can do to help there. Also, like you said, the older veterans who have the presumptive conditions from Agent Orange or whatever
Right.
from Vietnam, have a lot of those. Survivor benefits, which I hadn't really thought about before. That's widows of our veterans who now have lost their husband and they need some help.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're there for that also.
Yep.
Boy.
Yep. My wife reminds me she put 20 years in the Army too.
Ah,
Okay. or whatever time.
Well, no,
it is.
but
Whatever time
that's
it is.
really good. So.
But that's great, man. That's great. So, anything of major significance you want to put out there that you want folks to know before we?
of course, we have the Blue Water Navy now is
Right.
going to be available as of January 1st.
Right.
Blue Water Navy Act, which would give those veterans who were not boots on ground in Vietnam, they will have the opportunity to put in for their benefits because they were exposed to Agent Orange
Right.
being off the coast of Vietnam.
Right.
Also,
That's a big program.
President in 2018 signed into effect the Mission Act, which has been revised all along to provide local community care for our veterans instead of having to drive all the way to Dayton for some of their services. They're going to be able now. It's still being formulated, if you will, but you will be able to do some of your services here in Richmond. And I have already talked to veterans who have been getting some of their services right here at Reed or local doctors. So that's
an excellent program too.
we're learning that as it progresses. But I think at some point you may be able to take care of urgent care right here in Richmond without having to go to the emergency room at Reed. You'll be able to go to Reed Urgent Care and be taken care of through the VA.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be a big help.
Those things is you won't have to run all the way to the emergency room in Dayton.
Yeah.
Be a big
That's
help.
great. Well, I tell you what, if you work half as hard in this position as you have in other positions that you've worked in with the same fervor and tenacity, we're in good hands. We're in good hands.
Well, I think we got a good guy there that's got a pass.
Yeah.
I'm having a good time. Like I said, I have a good mentor and lots of people to fall back on, so
Sure.
we can do some good things for
That's
our
just
veterans,
really
I
good.
think.
Okay.
Shut it down.
Well, and so Ron, just so folks will know, the address and where you're located.
Is right in the, I just forgot the address.
Yeah.
It's 401.
It's county, the county
401.
building, right.
Yeah, 401 West Main.
Right.
And we're in the lower portion of the annex building, right at the bottom of the stairway, Veteran Service Office.
All right.
Okay,
Well,
so
that's it. Yeah.
we've done it again.
Man, thanks a lot for coming.
Thanks for
Appreciate it. And as things evolve, keep us updated, and we'll bring you back on so you can tell us all the new stuff that's going on.
Sure.
All right. Hey, folks, thanks a lot for watching Proudly We Serve.
Cronin Toyota and Cronin Nissan are honored to partner with Proudly We Served, as well as the continued support of our local active and retired military veterans across eastern Indiana.